with Brooklyn College. We're working on some other ones, and which, you know, because I designed the entire program to articulate with pretty much any school in CUNY. So, but right now we only have articulations, formal articulations with Brooklyn. We can certainly help you with equivalencies if anybody has questions about that, because I know every single program in CUNY that has media. So just shoot me an email. So anyway, what we have is, you know, we have a very defined sequence of courses. And I guess what's really important that I want to stress for Advisement is that they take the two fundamental production courses, 141 and 241, pretty early on in their time at Queensborough, because those are really the foundational courses, and all of the other production courses sort of build on that. So those are really, really super fundamental. It's sort of like, you know, if you're starting a language, this is, you know, Spanish 1 and Spanish 2. Here we go. And before you can do 3, 4, and 5, you've got to have these two. So, and they're also prerequisites for our television studio production, as well as our advanced editing course. However, you know, so it also, what we also try to do is to spread out all the production courses over their time at Queensborough. It helps them not lose access to the software, because they you know, they only pay for the licenses for the software that they use. So, you know, while they're in the class. So this way we can keep them making films their entire time that they're at Queensborough. I have an agenda here with that. But by the way, studio production and editing, they say one's a prerequisite for the other, but it's fine. We let people take them together all the time. Our other courses, core courses, are screenwriting, film history, elements of film, which is like film aesthetics, and intro to electronic media and media criticism. I am the primary contact. We do have another professor now in the program, Professor Khalil Garner. He's brand new. This is his second semester. So, so we're growing. What else? Oh, this is exciting stuff. We have a lot of internship opportunities, and there's a program actually through CUNY and Media Makers and the City of New York. And I've had several students going through this program very successfully, and some of them have gotten jobs out of this program. And what they do is they sort of mentor the students while they're seeking internships. You know, the job outlook for media production is very good. It's a huge economic engine in New York. So, you know, the more kids we get into jobs, I think the better it is. And so I have the contact. The contact is Patrick Quinn. If you ever have any questions about the internship program there, it is a wonderful program. It's run, I think he works mostly out of Brooklyn College, but, you know, it's basically for anybody in CUNY, and they only have to be registered for one class to participate in the program, which is also kind of extremely cool. I actually have a student who just graduated from this program, and she actually got into another program that's quite competitive, the Made in New York production assistant program, where she's basically going to be working on feature films for 2 years. So it's a fantastic program, and they do wonders, and they have a talent database and everything. And I have another student right now who's going through the program, and he's doing video for the Parks Department, and they're probably going to give him a job as soon as he graduates. So it's pretty wonderful. So yeah, the job outlook is spectacular. I just throw these in there. So if people, you know, because it's not just one job, it's a billion jobs. There's a lot of, you know, there's so many different jobs in the industry. I apologize. Yes, it is a paid internship. It is. I apologize for, I live on an avenue, so it's always fun with the sirens. Yes, so they do pay them, and that, which is really great. So yeah, you have a huge, it's because it's not just directors and writers, it's it's production accountants, it's set design, it's props, it's all kinds of, it's operators, it's editors, it's office staff. There's a lot of different jobs in the field, and there's a reason that movie credits are 9 minutes long. So so I have a couple of sample sequences here. I'd be happy to I can forward this to you and you can distribute it.
Sure.
I'm kind of not really I'm a little bit of a block with sequences, so I tried my best here. But I have like fall, fall, spring, and I also have and you notice I do have them taking 141 and 241 in their first 2 semesters, which is really super important.
Yeah, the biggest issue with the 141 is that it's always like we fall short. I think we need like an extra section or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we're running 2 sections. Yeah, that's the
Okay.
problem.
Okay.
Yeah, we run 2 sections, and I think it's a little better now that we have actually another person.
Okay.
So that's kind of great. I will definitely mention that, though, that if we need another section of that, because we may want to get an adjunct for that then, because they can't really do anything else until they take that class. So,
Right.
all right, I will definitely pass that along. I also have a spring start, which oddly enough, I never really thought of when I designed the program. So it's a little rough and ready, but I will definitely forward you that. You don't need to really look at this right now. So, but yeah, and what we really try to do is, because the screenwriting is a writing intensive, there's just a lot of writing intensive stuff in here. So we try not to load them up on writing intensive at one time. So that's about what I have. I'm like, just zipping through that. If anybody has any questions, I'm not sure. I'm here. Actually, the Elements of Film usually only runs in the spring, and American Film History only runs in the fall. That's probably it. As I said, we've had some scheduling issues in the past, but now we seem to have, now that we have another instructor in the program, it's a relief. Let's put it that way. Yeah, those are the only 2. And, if there was demand for the other 2, I'm sure we could probably do it. But because they're 4-hour classes, so and I think I'm the one that teaches them, so I can only do so much. Yeah, most of our classes are 4 hours, so. And
Any other questions?
yeah, anything. I'm always available too if you need to reach out to me. It's
Sure.
White at QCC. Again, I'm the primary contact for everything. Right. So I designed the program, so I know it better than anybody probably. So
I just wanted to make an announcement. Thank you, Professor White.
Oh, you're welcome.
Because of the power outage in the gym, if you guys have seen on email, we're gonna have to kind of shift things around when it comes to the speakers. The next speaker was Andrea Salas, but she just emailed me saying she doesn't know if she's got kicked out of her office, basically. So, so based on what I see on the schedule, let me just take a look here. Let's see here. Is Dr. Sabani here, Goshaw? And if not, then I know I saw Professor Kornfeld and then Professor Lazul.
We're here.
Okay. Would you mind jumping in?
No, not at all.
Okay, so we'll make a shift.
Is the power outage in the RFK or the Medical Arts Building?
I heard it was the RFK.
No, it's
Okay.
actually several buildings. It's Medical Arts, RFK, Oakland, C building, so several buildings.
Are they being evacuated?
They're all evacuated, yeah.
Oh, God. Okay, thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
the update.
If you
All
want to text Andrea and let her know, she can come to the W building. We have open cubicles if she wants to come here.
Okay. Tell her to come where?
To the W building. We have a couple extra cubicles. I ran over to Courtney and she said no problem.
Yeah.
Did someone tell her, or should I
We have a
contact
couple
her?
here in Advisement too in the library building.
Yeah, I'll email her. I just don't have her phone number, but I can email her real
I'm
quick.
texting her.
Okay, text her, just tell her come. She can come to W building and we'll get her sorted.
W building. Where in the W building?
Tell her just to walk in and I'll grab her. Tell her the ASAP office. She's been here. ASAP
Is that
office.
Vicky?
Yeah, it's Vicky.
Hey, Isabella.
Hi. Just tell
Sorry.
her come to tell her to come to ASAP in the W building and I'll sort her out.
Thanks,
Okay, I will
Vicky.
do that right
Vicky's
now.
become my partner in this training. So
No problem.
Will, can you hear me?
yes, Edna.
Okay.
Am I in the correct meeting?
Yes, you are.
Okay, that's
All
all I
right,
need to
send it
know.
to her.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. Welcome everyone, and I want to thank all the advisors for all their hard work in advising all students, including massage therapy students, of course. Okay, so I just have some quick talking points that a reminder is more than anything else. And if you have any questions, please ask. And Ron Kornfeld, Professor Kornfeld is our head student success advocate for our students. So he's available during the summer, spring, and fall, and he is available to answer any questions and to help students with advisement and help students with mentoring and tutoring. So please send them to us or email Professor Kornfeld to myself, and we will handle it from there. Okay. So I'm just going to read these off. If you have any questions, speak up. All advised massage therapy students must reach out to either Professor Kornfeld or myself. So I understand you advise them. But students, as you know, and it's not your doing or mine, are reluctant to read what they're supposed to read or come to meetings with us. So we recommend strongly that you tell them you've been advised, and now you should contact Professor Kornfeld or Professor Litzul. All health clearance requirements must be in before the day of classes, first day of classes, or students will not be allowed in class. And it's amazing. I know you say it, we say it, it's on the website. They still don't do it. I don't know what the holdup is, but I encourage you when you first meet them to repeat it at the beginning, maybe during your advisement with them, and at the very end, another strong reminder that they need to do this. Students must read the student handbook and sign acknowledgement letter that it was read. That handbook holds all the information necessary for them to successfully get through the program. And we hand it out. If you don't have them, we'll be sending them out to you again. They must sign the acknowledgement letter that they've read it. It just saves problems for everyone, for yourself, for the student, and for the faculty. Let's see here. Also, as you're advising students, and you may already know this, but just a gentle reminder, be mindful that certain classes only are offered once a year, either in the spring or the fall, and that holds true for massage therapy classes. So really, when it comes to anatomy and physiology 1 and 2, it's offered in the spring, in the fall, and the summer. It can't be offered in the winter because it's too long of a class, too arduous for them to take during winter. So they have an opportunity to take those classes in fall, spring, and summer. And please remind them when they do sign up for A&P classes that they need to keep on top of the information because it moves very quickly and many of them end up dropping out. And that goes for myology, kinesiology as well, and neurophysiology. So a gentle reminder to them from you that they need to keep on top of those classes. And we also ask you if they come back to you or they say they're not doing well with the class, they may not come to us, to send them to us because we have tutors for them that can help them. And also tell them early on if they're having trouble with the class, with the science classes or any class, if they see on the first exam they didn't do well, they should really reach out to help to us. and we will get them the help they need. Let's see here. Okay, some confusion in the past for advisors have been Practicum 1 and Practicum 2. So Practicum 1 is offered in the fall and Practicum 2 is offered in the spring. Students must take Practicum 1 before Practicum 2. So if you're looking at it, and I know how busy you folks are, and I know how inundated you are with students, trust me, I understand. And you only have a certain amount of time to get it done. I understand it too. You can barely eat or go to the bathroom. I get it. But please, just be aware of the little nuances. Practicum 1 comes before Practicum 2. Another HA 205 professional issues is only offered in the spring and only to senior and graduating students. The reason that we do that is because there are many forms that they need to fill out for graduation and to take the board with the completion of their tenure here at Queensborough. So it behooves us. I'm sorry, you have a question? No? So it behooves us to have them take that course in the spring, and it's really offered only to seniors. Let's see here. Transfer students must be clear on what courses they must take. We get students in the spring right before graduation that are missing classes, for example, Math 321. So here there's a graduation audit going on with Doreen Fox-Arian, and she does a great job. And we find out in March or April that they haven't taken a course that they need to graduate. Kind of late, you know? I don't know if the student was stalling or they didn't listen to you when you told them we've accepted these transfer credits, but you must take these courses. So again, if they come to us, we review everything you've done. It's a second check to make sure that everything's getting done. And a reminder to them that you need to get this done before the spring. So we've had a number of students that come to us in the spring, like say March or April, saying, oh, I didn't take this course. I don't know why that happened. And most times there aren't any equivalencies for them. So please encourage them to be on top of that. And if they do need to take certain courses like English 1 or 2 or Math 321, they need to get it done. Now, mind you, Math 321, English 1 and 2 can be taken in the spring, summer, and fall semesters. So always prioritize the courses that have prerequisites and prerequisites that must be taken that are only offered in the spring or fall. I hope I'm being clear with this. I'm sorry. Courses that have prerequisites and co-requisites, please look at them as you advise students and remind them that they need to take those co-requisites at the same time or any prerequisites required for courses they're going to be taken. Students who go part-time, we do accept part-time students, but it's a little tricky. So if you do have part-time students, advise them as they come in, but please have them reach out to us because I can create a schedule for them that'll work and get them out as quickly as possible. Let's see here. What else? Part-time students, prerequisites, co-requisites. Okay, so my cell phone number is 917-279-0733. I'll repeat, 917-279-0733. Please, if you are in the middle of advising a student and need help, don't hesitate. Call me. It will save you time and energy. And I know you need the time and the energy. So if you're stuck on something, I never get, what's the word, cranky. I'll say hi. I'll answer the phone. And if you text me, just identify yourself so I know who I'm responding to. It'll just speed things up for you and make your life easier. I think that's all I have to say. We have a very great program. Students have been passing with 100% pass rate. I want to share that with you. You may not know that, but after the pandemic, we were online and the students basically had 100% pass rate on the board. Program is growing. We're looking at a new affiliation with the hospital. Give you more information as that moves on. And thanks to you, all of you, and your support, you keep the program going. And if there are any questions, as I say, reach out to Professor Kornfellow or myself. Do you have any questions for me?
We do. We have two. There's two hands up, though. Hold on. There's two hands up, Arthur and Andre. So we'll go in order.
Hi, Dr. Wizzle. This is Arthur. How are you?
Good, dear. How are you?
Pretty good. Thank you for asking. I just had two questions. One, do you still have the Mastering A&P packets for the massage therapy students by any chance?
We do. And you
Okay.
can reach out to Lisa Wakuski. She is another student success advocate. And I will, hold on a second.
What was the last name, Lisa? What?
I'm going to spell her name for you right now. Just give me 1 second. It's been a crazy morning. Oh God, what's the matter? It's WALKUSKI.
It's posted in the chat for folks.
Yeah.
And Professor Lazul, if you want to put your number in the chat as well, in case someone missed it.
WALKUSKI. Yeah, I'll put my number in the chat as well. You can reach out. She's a student success advocate also. And you can reach out to Lisa Wakuski, Professor Kornfeld, and myself. And please utilize us. We don't get, what's the word? Everybody's busy, but it's our priority to support the students in this program. And it's also our priority to support you. You know, you're our first defense. They see you and we're here to help you. So don't hesitate to reach out to us at all.
Perfect.
I will
And
post my information in a second. Any other questions?
yes, the second one was,
Yeah, reach out to Lisa. She'll give it to you.
okay, perfect. And my second question is the student success advocates. You used to email us, I guess, around this period of time for the upcoming semester with the names of the student success advocates. Would you be able to do that
Yes.
as well?
Yes. Who would you like me, when you say us, who do you want me to distribute it to?
If you could send it,
you.
if you could send it to Will, and Will will disseminate it to, I guess, everyone that's
To
here.
who? To who?
William Duque,
Oh,
the
William,
organizer.
sure, absolutely.
Yes.
You got it.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're very welcome, and thank you for all your work.
Okay, and next was Andre, and I think after that was Edna.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good, good, good.
Thanks again for your work.
Thank you, thank you. Each semester in Academy Advisement, we reach out to students via email to let them know to schedule an appointment. But since academic advisement is not mandatory, oftentimes they bypass us and do their own enrollment.
It's not mandatory?
No, it's not. It's not mandatory for continuing students, no. So they can go online themselves and bypass us and register for whatever. Sometimes the only time I hear from them, those students, when there's a problem.
How do
Then
I
they'll
make it
then
mandatory?
they'll contact me. Then they'll contact me.
How do I make it mandatory?
I don't know. I
Well, it
don't
has
know.
to be for our students. It has to be.
You'd have to get some permission from registrar.
From
Yeah.
registrar. Okay, we will do that. I'll ask Professor Salas to help, Dr. Salas to help me with that. It
Okay.
has to be mandatory. Now
Okay.
I understand where all the problems are coming in.
Yeah, they just bypass us. I've had that situation. Like again, the only time I hear from them is when there's a problem.
The
So
same thing happens to us, believe me.
Mhm.
Now I understand why this is happening. I wasn't aware, and maybe I missed out somewhere or missed the boat, but I was not aware that it wasn't mandatory. It's a medical program. It's a health-related program. They said for a licensing exam, it must be mandatory. Oh, Jesus God. Okay, thank you for telling me that. And William, thank you. I will reach out to Professor Salas and registrar.
okay, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cool.
You look like this person I was thinking of math.
Ah.
The whole time. It's cool. It is.
Okay, sorry about that. All right. Are there any other questions for Professor Lazul? Edna, did you want to?
Yes,
Yes,
can you
go
hear
ahead.
me?
Yes.
Okay. I would like her to repeat the math courses required for the massage therapy.
Yes, it's Math 321.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, and thank you for all your work.
Yes.
Any other
I know.
questions?
Ron, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, if I can.
Please.
Am I unmuted?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. Let me just let's see. I'm wondering if I can share the program thing, but I can't find it too easily. All right, I don't want to confuse things. What we really are asking, and Isabella will correct me if I'm incorrect. Am I still in the meeting? I think I may have lost it.
You're still here.
Okay, good. I can't project anything. And anyway, we would really like for advisors to contact us when they're registering our majors, whether it's problematic or not. Not necessarily right then and there, but Professor Lazul, Dr. Lazul is always available, on the phone if there's an issue. But we really are asking that you tell us when you've registered someone, when any of our majors come in, just because there are all these issues going on with communications. The sooner we know, a lot of times we don't know what's happening until they show up in our HA track. And because we have our situation where if they miss a course in sequence, it could delay them a year. And we're always chasing them on the health services packages and all that stuff. So we really are requesting that you contact us and not just leave it up to the student, not just recommend that the student contact us, but that you just send us a mail, either to myself or Dr. Lazul, with the student's name, say, okay, I've registered Gail, and here's her ID, and here are her contacts, especially their private mail, if you have their private mail, because we all know that entering students don't like to use the Queensboro mail. So I just wanted to reinforce that. And I think, am I correct about that, Isabella, that we would like to know the names and contacts for every.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right. And I want to thank everybody for helping us navigate this situation. And, everybody working together, we can try to avoid some of these things that, that we can avoid.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Professor Corpel.
Thank
Any
you.
questions? Any other questions for the massage therapy faculty? Okay. Well, because of the
Will, I have a question. Can I speak?
sure, go ahead.
I wanted to know, say for instance, if I'm advising a massage therapy student and I'm following all the direction as far as what semester they can take, whatever. Is it at all feasible, even though I think I heard you say, I can call you at that point to be sure that I'm giving the student the right courses, the sequence?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's very important to me. I need to know that I could do that. So
You
that
can,
not
and
only,
I will welcome your phone call.
thank you so much. I just want to make sure they're on the right track for graduation and
I appreciate that.
submission of all their classes. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome, very welcome. I just want to make your lives easier. This is why I give you my phone number.
Yes.
It saves you time.
Not everybody does that. Thank you.
Yes, that's the most important part. The other thing I wanted to say, the massage therapy packet. Are you going to be sending that out to Will?
I will.
Okay, please. Thank you.
Yes, we will.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
And also,
Thank
do advisors have the health services packet? Do you have the health service clearance packets for the medical clearance?
Well,
All
I have both packets.
Okay.
That was sent to me.
Okay,
so
good.
Is that the same packet that we would be using, or is there an updated one?
Well, if there's an update, then we'll have to update.
Okay. So
Okay.
in other words, we'll still be utilizing the same package that we got.
Yeah, and they have to renew that every term, by the way, in case there's any confusion. That has to be done in the spring and the fall.
Okay.
The health clearance, there's part of the health clearance that's good for the 2 years, but there's parts of it that has to be renewed every semester. And all of these documents are on the website for massage therapy students. They can be downloaded from there, or they can reach health services, and their direct number is 718-631-6375. I'll put it in the chat. You can always talk to Sunita or Ramishka. I'll give you the names in the chat. I'll write it in.
Okay. I think Vicky has a question.
Yeah, I just was going to share that when we created the packets and and Isabella created on the handbook, but we did add in those, so the medical clearance forms are in those packets, and it also lists for you the what clearances need to be done at what times. So
Mhm.
there's some that are semesterly, there's some that are yearly, there's some that are good for 10 years. So we actually broke that down for you in the packet. So if you look through the packet, you'll see what needs to be done when with the medical clearances specifically.
Thank
And Vicky, I'm sorry I'm going to do this to you, but if we've worked very, very closely with Vicky O'Shea. She's been a tremendous asset to our students, and as you all have. And Vicky knows pretty much everything that I've told you today. If you can't reach me for some crazy reason, or Ron, just reach out to Vicky. Sorry, and she'll be able to answer your question.
No worries. I'll put, everybody should have my phone number. I've been sending it out as on the HEO rep side, but I will put it in the chat again. So you guys can always call or text or email me if you have questions or need help and can't get in touch with Ron or Isabella.
Yeah,
Please, that's very
Vicky,
important.
getting in touch with Vicky is like getting in touch with me. She'll tell you exactly what you need to know.
Thank
Great.
you.
And
Thank you.
Arthur, you wanted to add something else?
Yes, sorry. One last thing I do want to add is, as we've all seen, we bring in students, transfers, or what have you, up until the last day of enrollment, which could include massage therapy students. So I don't think we've ever had a clear-cut deadline for them to come in, so we can make sure that all of the documents that they need, like the CPR, the medical clearances, would all be in by the first day of classes. Has there been any discussions, whether it's with admissions or any other party that's involved with bringing students in, to have a possible deadline? Because at
You
that
know
point,
what,
we just tell
Arthur,
students, complete it as soon
I,
as possible.
I hear you. I hear you. And I've discussed this with Ron and Andrea. So here lies the problem. You know how bad enrollment has been for Queensborough, right? We all know. And I don't know why people wait till the last minute, but I'd like to hold to a date, and I can give you a date. But what if we have 5 students in the pipeline that haven't been advised yet, and we can get them in? What do you recommend we do then?
I mean, at that point, I just don't know how they can start, let's say, Western Massage 1 or what have you on the first day of classes if their medical clearance isn't in or their CPR isn't in. And the only CPR that we know the deadline specifically that we know the days that it's going to be held are the ones that are HE 110. However, Health Services has been kind enough to either offer their own versions or inform students of options that they run for massage therapy students. So, but the thing is, we as advisors do not have those dates, and we often defer them to Rashmika, who is the nurse that works with the massage therapy students, or Christine that kind of works and helps out Rashmika, or whether it be Isabel, um, to kind of figure that out. So I don't think
They
we have
can,
a. Sorry, I was gonna say we just don't have a streamlined process. At the end, it's like, okay, we're letting all these students in, but who has the information? It's like different parties have different bits and pieces of that information.
Right. Guys, I'd just like to intervene. We need to get moving with the schedule. So I appreciate it if we just, Vicky, one more thing, and then we need to move on. Thank you.
I was just going to say, if you go through the packet, there's a list there of where they can take CPR courses. There's on there, they do have it. There's the American Heart Association, I think, is the one that we accept. If you go on their website, it lists all of them. They're offered all the time. We do have HE 110s that run right before the semester starts or right as the semester starts. So there's several, and also through continuing education, we've had them as well. If you look on the QCC continuing ed website, they're there as well. So there's a lot of different options for the CPR, the medical clearance. When we have them coming in last minute, because we all know they do, we try to urge them to go to their doctor as soon as possible. A lot of the things that they need, they should have already gotten. For example, most of the MMR, tetanus, things like that, people have gotten in their lifetime generally. if they've been getting vaccinations. For something like the TB, we're looking at the tuberculosis, that usually is a 3-day test. If they can get into the doctor very quickly, they'll have that TB result within 1 week. So within a week or two, they should have everything that they need. And if they're coming in very late, I'm sure if they contacted Dr. Lazul and spoke to them and said, hey, it's August 24th, classes start tomorrow, I just got advised on my classes today, and speaking to her, she'll try to work with them and see what we can do.
Thank you, Vicki.
Great, thank you, Vicki. Okay, so because of our shifting around, if we could, we'll have Dr. Salas come on, and then after that it'll be Dr. Gulshaw from chemistry. So if Dr. Salas, are you there, please?
Thank you, William.
I have one question. This is Dr. Bhushan.
Sure.
Yeah, actually, we were all evacuated out from the medical arts building.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
We are just getting in, so I have time to go to the 4th floor and then I will log back in. So Dr. Salas will continue. Right?
Perfect. Thank you for the
okay.
accommodation.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay. Hi, Andrea. Are you there?
Hi, Will. Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
Can
great.
you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm in the library. So if there's any background noise, I apologize. I'm not in a private room because our building was evacuated, but I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Isabella and Ron, for the detailed information about massage therapy program that is so essential to Advisement. Really appreciate it. We appreciate your time. So I'll speak about the other programs in health, phys ed, and dance very briefly. Our AS in dance is led by directors Professor Gizmar and Emily Berry. They are the ones to contact for any advisement and placement. So they're very hands-on with the students. They need to determine which courses the students would need to go into, not simply by sequence, which is important, but also by the students' abilities. So only they would be able to make that determination in terms of which courses they should go into. So they should be contacted for all dance students. So other things to speak about for our health education programs in public health and nutrition concentration and liberal arts and sciences. Most important for public health is students taking the prerequisites. You heard a bit about that before from massage therapy, but that is so critical that, so because certain courses are only offered once a year. For example, our HE202, social and behavioral determinants of health, is only going to be offered in the spring. So if students haven't taken the prerequisite HE114, principles and practices of public health, then they won't be able to take HE202. So it's really important to make sure that students are doing the prerequisites. I do believe that Anuradha Srivastava from biology will be coming to speak to you later about the biology course prerequisite, about biology courses for public health, and they have similar prerequisites as well. Our EMT program is doing very well this semester, and we have continuing that in the spring. I'm sorry, in the fall as well. Our CPR courses are offered in the fall as early as August before the fall semester begins. So even though they're listed in the fall, they start and finish before the fall for any students, incoming students that need the CPR before they can take other courses for their majors. Of course, we offer CPR throughout the year as well, but in addition, we offer that in August. And so please look for that and advise students who are in need of CPR before they take other courses. Our movement science program is doing very well. Similarly, there are courses in movement science like Intro to Exercise Science or Intro to Physical Education, games and sports for children that are only offered once a year. So those are courses that when they are offered, students should take them, not to wait, because then they'd have to wait a full year. Our concentrations in exercise science, physical education, and personal training for the liberal arts program has been eliminated. So if you have students who are looking to do those if students are looking to finish those concentrations, they can, but new students who are looking for something similar to those concentrations, please refer them to the movement science program, because that's a full program. Of course, they can still do liberal arts, general studies, but this would be more appropriate and for their education and career pursuits, if they are truly interested in exercise science and phys ed and personal training, to take the movement science degree program. It's an associate's degree, it's a transfer degree program. There are tremendous opportunities for once they graduate and continue on, maybe at York College's movement science program. So definitely, and look to offer that as an alternative for them. Those are my immediate points to make. I'm sure you've been getting a lot of information. I'm happy to take any questions at this time if there are any.
Sure, I have one. For the movement science, which I know is fairly new,
Yes.
what would be like a recommended transfer program once they complete that degree? Is it something that they can continue like with phys ed, or is there like a whole science behind it?
Absolutely. So we do have an articulation agreement with York College. York College has a BS in movement science, so it seamlessly transitions, and York College's program is accredited by the National Exercise Science Association. So it's a highly reputable program. So that's definitely one pathway for students. But students who are interested in continuing on in exercise science, in physical education, our program is designed for that as well, because it is a transfer degree program.
Okay,
and we
great.
are looking to develop articulations with Adelphi. They also have an exercise science program as well. Oh, thank you, Renee, for putting out the articulation agreement. Yes, thank you.
That answers
Appreciate
probably
that.
my other
Mhm.
question.
Yep, there it is. Great.
Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you, Professor Salas. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And thanks for being flexible, like really flexible when it comes to, this is a first that we've had a power outage during all the history of our trainings. And the fact that faculty were able to jump from one building to another to still join the meeting, it's phenomenal. So kudos to our folks who were able to get that done. Appreciate it. Okay. And again, moving on to Dr. Golshaw. I think she made it. Did you make it to your destination safely?
No, not yet because of security, but I'm standing in the staircase and making the presentation. So
Okay.
anyway, it's all good. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for allowing me to present the biotechnology program. So do I get a share screen? Can I share my screen? Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Okay. Okay, so my name is Sarbani Bhushan, and I'm here to represent the AS degree in biotechnology. And as you see, like just to give you an upfront of biotechnology, so this is a specialized field in biology, and it's very booming. And it has a lot of opportunities, especially as we pass through the pandemic. You may consider that thinking that out of the many industries out of the few industries that did really good was biotechnology, thanks to all the vaccine development, drugs, etc. So basically, I'm saying that the biotechnology student can go to any of the areas that are listed over here. These are more specialized fields in related to biology as well as chemistry. Now, there are multiple career options, and especially due to our location in this New York and New Jersey, Boston area, there are multiple job opportunities and employment in biotechnology for our students, even if they have a very basic degree. So if we look at this biotechnology career path, so it spans quite a lot, from a bottom level to the top. And our students are basically over here, but still, if they complete this degree, they can get into a technician positions. And the reason I'm telling you is, although they have a lot of opportunities, because our degree in biotechnology has got an articulation with your college, our students transfer seamlessly. So even with an AS degree, they are capable of getting a technician job. And if they can go and complete the degree and in a bachelor's degree or go higher up, there are multiple more opportunities waiting for them. And one of the reasons I'm emphasizing is because for our upper level biotechnology classes, we really suffer from enrollment issues. And it's not just due to the pandemic time, it's actually pre-pandemic also. But in QCC, we can boast to have one of the best biotechnology labs and very research active faculty members, because this area needs a lot of hands-on training, and our faculty, many of our faculty members are involved in research. And also we have very advanced level equipments in our department and the program, like this machine, like this, you may have heard about during the pandemic, that PCR test and all. So we have a very sophisticated PCR machine sitting in our lab. And this is another equipment, which is a very unique one, not found anywhere in CUNY, because I recently got it from one of my NSF grants, and the sales rep told me that probably QCC is one of the places, in New York City to house this machine. So there are multiple strains of our program. As I said, that this degree needs a lot of hands-on experience and research training, which students can really get in QCC, and then they can get through our collaborations in York College. And we offer multiple workshops. We have, bring in external seminar speakers, as well as our students present in local, regional, and national conferences. And one more highlight of the program that I would like to emphasize is that we have multiple honors level courses, and that gives the student an opportunity to even graduate with honors with A's in biotechnology. So this is the curriculum, and apart from the common core categories, these are the major requirements. And as I was talking about the honors level courses, like some sections of biology too, it is offered as honors. Then I myself teach BI 453, which is an honors and writing intensive class. Then this bioinformatics class is also an honors class, along with the research laboratory internship. So we really suffer a lot, getting students for the BI 453 and bioinformatics, and principle of genetics still does better because it's a requirement for nursing students. So we really seek your help and support, which you have been offering all the time to fill the classes. And we have some enrollment issues with few of these classes. So there are 4 different curriculum maps based upon the math placement. As you can see here, like this has nothing changed with this one from before. And I just wanted to share, some of the good stuffs that our students do themselves in our labs. Like, this is one picture on the left-hand side where students identify, food which are labeled organic, and they do experiments like which are based on PCR to check, whether those foods are really organic or genetically modified. Then our students, they genetically engineer the bacteria and see these bacteria are glowing. These are all student work, and they go and present this work in different conferences. And this one on the right-hand side bottom, this is, they bring fish samples from their own refrigerators, like whatever they have, and identify specific proteins using a technology called Western blotting. So all these are student work. So say benefit tremendously from the hands-on training they get. And these are some of our students working in the lab, presenting in whether inside QCC or in regional conferences. So they get a lot of opportunities, which I think they are not aware that there are so many opportunities even they have in QCC. They don't even, like, if they go out and to four-year colleges, they will have, but it's there for them in QCC also. So these are few of the department contacts, and you can contact any one of us if you want to have more information. Dr. Gadura is the one who started this program. So, and all of us are available to answer any question. And just, I would like to thank all of you with, and I put up this slide just to show you this, that I cannot emphasize more that this field has so much potential. So students, if they really take us advanced, like, you know, this biotechnology course. So in 1950s, like, you know, we all know that insulin, which is the main like medicine for diabetics, this used to be like half kg of insulin could be gotten from this much of peak pancreas. And now we have genetically engineered bacteria producing tons of insulin to meet the demands of modern time. So our students already at the associate level learn how to genetically engineer bacteria. So I thank all of you. And as I said, you know, we really have enrollment issues for specifically the classes, like, you know, the major requirements, and we seek your support as always for those. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any questions for Dr. Ghoshal? Sure. Kanika?
Oh, no, I don't have a question. I was just clapping.
Oh, okay. I thought your hand was up. Okay, thanks for that. Any questions?
So I listed the contacts. I can copy paste the contacts if you want,
Yeah, that
on the
would-
chat. And if you have any question, just let us know. We will be happy to answer.
Great, great. Thank you so much for your time. And
Yeah, sure.
and I mean, I think this is a first. You presented from a staircase, so
Yeah. I'm
that's,
sorry about the background noise.
it's okay. It's okay. This is many firsts today. Thank you so much. Okay, our next guest is going to be Professor Srivastava.
Yeah, thank you, William. And I am also outside of my building. We just got the green signal to get inside. I'm sitting in my car because I didn't want to make that change now, trying to go and, you know, you never know, the computer may not start, and then I didn't want to miss the meeting.
Right. So any material you can send to us and we can forward. So
there's no material. There are a couple of updates. I think Dr. Salas may have left by now. There is also an faculty executive committee meeting, so faculty are heading over there. So as the co-director of AS Public Health Program, I wanted to share with advisors some updates that may be coming in fall in the program, and for advice from advisement point of view, how to direct the students towards certain courses. So I would highly recommend that these students who are joining the AS and Public Health Program ensure that they are definitely taking BI 201 as a prerequisite, because some of the majors later on require that as a majors requirement. And we all know that 201 is a difficult course, and they should be able to pass it to be able to take BI 521, which is a majors requirement public health biology course. And this course, BI 201, is also being offered over the summer in case some students don't succeed in spring semester. Please encourage them to take the course in the summer and also apply for the STEM waiver. That way they can then register for the majors required courses, BI 521, and other majors required courses like even epidemiology. So the second thing is this: I'm noticing more and more students that are really not aware. However, I communicate with them all the time. I get my list from the registrar for all the students who are enrolled in public health majors, and I send out notifications, but I still see that, as we know, the students sometimes don't check their emails, that they don't really register, that BI 503, which is epidemiology, and BI 521, public health biology, both are majors requirement, and they're offered only in the fall semester. So it's very important that students keep that in mind so that they can graduate in a timely fashion, and don't miss the fall semester for this. It's important that they take the BI 201, which is prerequisite for BI 521. We have changed that for epidemiology. It used to be prerequisite for epidemiology as well. So that's first thing. The second thing is this, that there is a lot of push towards field experiences and internship. And I'm very happy to share that currently, at least, so from past summer semester until now, I received this BRESI grant, and through which I was able to place our public health students for field internships by registering them for the BI 554 research lab internship course. So I reached out to the chair of biology department and the course coordinators that a lot of our students want field experience, and it necessarily may not be in the lab by QCC faculty. They may be working with Department of Health or in other labs or outside. Like right now, 2 students are doing internship with Northwell Health. So they agreed that since there is not a specific course related to internships and field experiences in public health, they were willing to be flexible. So these students then started enrolling for BI 554 research lab internship with me as their supervisor. But then of course, they have an external field supervisor who communicates with me all the time. So I am now creating a field internship experience course, which has to be approved by our curriculum committee. It has to go through, the entire process of being approved by the college and whatnot. So it is going to be this BI 525 will be a new course in field experiences and internship in public health. Hopefully, we'll be able to offer it from fall. It will be a 2-credit hour course, and students will be required to complete 90 hours at the site to earn 2 credits. So I have seen that some students feel that there is no internship or field experiences inbuilt in this curriculum. I would say that please start advertising this with students. Even if we don't have this course ready and approved in fall, I can still get them into BI 554 and they can still go for field experiences. I've created some good collaborations and networking with some organizations, and they are very happy with our students who are currently interning with us. And we will continue these relationships from now on. So that is, but that means it requires a program revision. So program revision will be coming where we will include this course, but there is going to be one more course, BI 111, that we are looking to include in our electives. And this is because of the request from your college. So we have articulation agreement where our students are able to transfer to BS in public health program either at York or at Hunter College. Now, York has this requirement that students should take a particular, I think that is their BI 380, which is equivalent to our BI 111. And so they requested us that if we can include it in our electives course and advise students who are looking to transfer to York to try to take this elective before they transfer. Otherwise, they will have to take it at York, but that kind of then stops them from taking other electives that they would like to take, the public health students to take over there. So, so besides the field internship experience course, I'm also looking to include BI 111 in our elective. So both will be included in the electives, and that will be a program revision. That being said, this field internship experience course, both Hunter and York College have agreed that this will be transferred as a blanket general elective credit to their colleges. So I just wanted to update you that I am in the process of getting the course approvals, program revision, and then based on that, I will update the articulation agreement both with Hunter and York. And hopefully everything will happen in fall, if not fall, definitely by spring. But definitely start sharing with students about field experiences and internship. That really gives them an edge over other people, when other students, especially if they're coming from a community college, if they have this kind of field experience. And York and Hunter were also very happy to hear that our students will be joining their programs, transferring to their programs with field experiences under their belt, because though it is built in their curriculum, they always think that it's a good idea. So that's my update, and I really want that students should know about this field internship opportunity in the program and take advantage of this, and they should reach out to me directly because I have couple of these organizations if they're interested, and I have to make sure that I can match them with the right organization based on their needs. And I have specifically tried to create these collaborations and partnerships in the organizations located in Queens itself, so that it's easy for our students to commute. So that was my update. And I'm looking forward to any questions that you may have regarding this.
Do you have
Everyone
a telephone number?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a telephone number where you could be reached?
Oh God, do I remember how about I send it to William?
Yes.
Yeah, go
And
ahead.
then
That's
he
fine.
can share with, yeah, I don't
Okay.
remember my own extension number. How about that?
Thank you.
But I would be happy to share even my cell phone number if the advisors, because I'm not in my, office all the time.
Do you have
So
any
I would
right? Do you have any information on those internships you mentioned and the special
Yes.
programs? Okay, if you could forward that too, because those are resources we'd like to share with students when they come in.
Absolutely, I'll do that. And one more thing, in fact, if you think you can do, I have been sending these emails to public health students. I still have three spots available for these organizations. So as I mentioned that I got this BRESI grant award, through which I'm able to pay stipend to these students. So the students who are currently interning are not only getting credit for BI 554, 2 credits towards their program pathway in their curriculum, but they're also receiving about $2,100 in stipend. And I have 3 more spots available. It's kind of late, but if students can complete 100 hours of internship until end of June 30th is when this grant will expire. But from now, even in May and June, if they can accumulate 100 hours of internship with these organizations. So what I will do is that I'm going to share the information of these organizations where our students can still register. I hope they can register for BI 554, get credit for that. And then, or even if in May and June, if they think they can complete in the summer, in June only, in if they can complete 100 hours in June, then that would mean enrolling in the BI 554 in summer with me, completing 100 hours by June 30th. They can get the stipend and they can get 2 credits for BI 554. The only thing is that both the organizations are looking for Spanish speaking students because they do a lot of community outreach and health related outreach, and they are serving Spanish population. So that became a little bit of an issue. I could not find entirely Spanish speaking students, and we still have this money sitting there that will expire. So if you can think that this could be urgently, if you can send this message urgently to public health students, if they're looking for internship experience and they can complete these 100 hours until June, then we can figure out a way that they get course credit and the stipend.
Gotcha. Francesca?
Yes, hello. I just want to let you know that I will send an email to my students today regarding this opportunity and see who can, because I do have Spanish speaking students in my program. I'll reach out to them and let you know ASAP.
Yes, and Francesca, this
Yes.
money is both for public health students and health sciences students.
Beautiful. Perfect.
So send it to me, and once I'm done, later in the afternoon, I'm going to share the information about the organizations.
Beautiful.
And
Okay.
the only requirement right now is that their GPA should be 2.0 or above.
Everybody in my program has more than 2.0.
Okay,
That's good.
great.
Okay,
Great.
perfect. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Did everyone get back into their office? That's a question. I know you haven't, but have any
No,
of the
yeah.
others? Okay.
I think I'll just run to the faculty executive meeting after this. I'm not going to my office anymore. So when I reach home, I'll send all the flyers and everything.
Great. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Is there any other questions? We do have a few minutes before our next speaker, just waiting for the Professor Burkow from music to come in. So
Yeah.
just
And
go
I
ahead.
just wanted to say that please remind the students that the majors requirement, they should look at which courses to take in which semester. And oh yes, one more thing. Besides BI 201, BI 520, Introduction to Public Health, will be offered in the summer as well, this summer. And again, it qualifies for STEM waiver. It is kept at just 16. So it's important that any incoming freshmen or those who do not succeed in BI 520 in spring semester, it's a good way to catch up over the summer. And they will qualify for STEM waiver as well.
Okay. No, the clinic is open for folks who didn't see that. All right, Professor Srivastava, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and please send that out when you have a chance. Thank you.
And thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm going to share all the information with William, and then you can share it forward.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Like I said, just waiting for Professor Burkow. He'll be on in probably another 3 or 4 minutes. So just take a quick break, stretch your legs. Thank you. Hey, Dr. Burkout, thank you for coming.
Hello.
Let's just give it a minute or two because I know some folks were just stepped out for a quick break.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you. Okay. I think now's a good time as ever. Welcome,
Okay.
Dr. Burkout, as usual. Thank you for
thank
coming.
you. Not a problem. Is it possible for me to share my screen?
Absolutely.
Okay. And I think you're seeing where it says new MUS students.
Yep.
Okay. So we're trying a couple of new things this semester, and I will email this to William, and you can pass it. You can send it to all the advisors. And what we're trying new has to do with the lessons. So when we get to that, I will explain a little bit more detail. But first thing to always know about any new MUS students coming into the program, you want to always place any new MUS students in MUS 121, which is the Music Theory 1. Do not place them in the MUS 111, Musicianship 1, if they're a new music student. They should all go into MUS 121. That's the correct one to put them in. You can also, as an advisor, enroll them in the MUS 186. That's the Convocation 1. And then all students do need 4 semesters of ensembles, 1 a semester. We recommend that they start by being in the chorus, MUS 421. They do need to take 2 consecutive semesters of chorus. So we kind of recommend getting it out of the way. They don't have to do that. They can take either the jazz ensemble or the percussion ensemble instead, and then they can do the chorus in their 3rd and 4th semesters. They're welcome to take more ensembles if they want. That's fine. Some do. But like I said, you just have to be careful. We've seen a lot of MUS students registering, and it may be that they're not working with an advisor, but a lot of them are not taking ensembles, and then that messes them up. And we're not sure why they're not taking ensembles. We email them and tell them, please take an ensemble. That's that they should always have 1 a semester. Now, in terms of the lessons, as an advisor, you should always ask students for their first and second choice of what they'd like to study as an instrument, or what they, what we call which studio they want to be assigned in. We're still only really offering the 4 studios. They can be taking piano lessons, the piano studio. They can be in the voice studio, percussion studio. And if they have previous experience in owning instruments, they can go into the saxophone studio. But we don't really want students starting in saxophone. Really, it's better for them if they don't really have a strong instrument preference to start either piano or voice. The department, we would prefer that as an advisor, you don't register the student for the lesson specifically. I like to do that as the department chair, so I know who these students are and I can balance the studios. I do want to know their preference if they have one. They can say no preference, and then I'll probably put them in piano. So that's the information to get from them. The important thing that's different this semester that we're trying is, just to make it easier on the student and the faculty, we actually have kind of reserved a studio time when the different studios will be given the lessons. So it kind of looks like in the schedule an actual class time. So for example, you may see MUS 178, the piano studio being offered by Professor Chang. It does have a room assigned and a time, and in which case this one is Wednesday from 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Now, the student should be aware that if they're going to take piano, that they need to be available during that time. And this professor will reach out to them when they register and set up a half-hour lesson within that window. And the other time within that window, we really want to encourage the students to use to practice on campus, either before or right after their lessons, so that they can keep those ideas fresh, because we're not sure our students are practicing enough. And we also think that just this way, students will know that this is time set aside for their lessons. And then it saves a lot of time and effort, we're hoping, on both the student and the professor to find a time when the lesson will work, because sometimes the students are getting times that aren't great for the professor or vice versa. So we're trying this. So there's 2 times when, in either a Wednesday or a Thursday, they'll work for the piano lessons. The voice studio, we've reserved 3 hours, which is a long time, but they would get only half an hour to do the lesson within that time, but they really should reserve that 3-hour period, because that's when the professor is going to be working with their studio to schedule students. And then percussion has a 2-hour time done. Saxophone, we don't anticipate a lot of students registering for saxophone, so we are still doing that one as it was done before, which was to be announced. It's just up to a negotiation between the professor and the student when they're going to take the lessons. But for these others, we'd like to try and get the lessons all in these times. As a result, we've limited the number of spaces that are open in any one of these given opening studios. If I run out of studio space and we still have students wanting to register, then I would, either we'll put a student in a studio that's open, or we can open up another time and have it be to be determined once we get beyond these limits. So I don't want students to be turned away. If the studio is full, we'll work with them. But like I said, we're trying to make it a little bit more standard when these lessons meet. So before I go on, is there any other questions on that? Do people have some questions? Did that make sense, what we're trying to do and how to kind of work with the students and their schedule?
I do have one question regarding Music 241, the Western history music.
Yes.
Is that's still only being offered 1 semester per year, correct?
That is correct, and it's only being offered in the spring.
Okay.
So it won't be in the syllabus. I think our degree plan has to be updated to show that should be taken. And I think I did actually. It should be taken in the 4th semester, the spring semester,
Okay.
rather than the 3rd.
Okay.
So that's kind of a permanent change that we've made. We think that that's better. So when advising students,
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there a flow chart that indicates for each semester as to what the student should take?
We do have the degree plans. Let me there's the chat. Let me see someone else's chat. Says follow to and recommended course sequencing. Yeah. So let me show you. I'm going to stop the screen share for just a minute and share a different one. Let me get to it. I think these are now up on the website. So let me go, I'm going to go to Music's website and then share that with you. And if it's too cumbersome, I can make maybe an easier to follow flow chart. But you see where it says music department?
Yes.
This is our music department website. I think the way to get there, I actually have to kind of review it myself. So, gosh, I thought they were right here. Let me experiment just a minute. Where are the degree plans? All right, so what I'm going to do is click on the music degree program course offerings. Let me see where it goes. Let's see if this is correct. Good. Now, I don't know if you saw the screen change. Did you?
Yes.
Okay, so now it says music.
Yes.
And it says degree program details. If you scroll down a little more, it'll say degree plans.
Okay. All right.
And there's with development and no development. And
Right.
then if you click on that, again, I think it'll show you going to the next place here.
Yes, we see it.
Okay, it's just going slow. There it is. So
Okay.
it'll
Okay.
pull it all up.
Okay, all right.
So now let me stop the share once again and pull up the other sheet.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for the question. Yeah, I know that for a while those were not up, but they've posted them again. That was like a college thing. I'm not quite sure why they had come down. So as an advisor, when you're dealing with a returning music student, one who's going on in the sequence of classes, I think you now can say, it says, I'm going to call those the third semester music students. Most of them enter in the fall. If they've been passing all their classes, this is the next set of classes for the spring to place or fall to place them in. Theory 3, ear training 3, class piano 3, and then again, their chorus if they need another chorus, but if they've done their chorus requirement, they want a different ensemble, they can certainly take either jazz ensemble or percussion ensemble. Those are the ensembles we recommend. As long as they always have one ensemble every semester and that they have 2 consecutive semesters of chorus as part of that, then their ensembles are good. With regards to the lessons, again, I'll register them for lessons once I see that they've registered for their other classes, and I'll register them for the next convocation and the lessons. However, we are going to try the same trick. So when working with their schedule with their other classes, try and make sure that these times, depending on what level of lessons they're on, are available in their schedule, because this is when we're going to schedule their lessons. So for example, if they're in the third semester of, if they're in the third semester of piano, which is MUS 278, if they're taking with Professor Chang, then they should reserve the Thursday 2 to 4 time slot for that lesson, even though it'll be a half-hour lesson within that time slot. If they have been taking lessons 2 with Professor Lekich, then this is what they need to reserve in their schedule. And I'll register from these lessons, but they should reserve it. If they're going on to voice lesson 3, then this is the time they need to reserve. If they're in the sequence going on to voice lessons 4, this is when they should reserve that time. So you can work with them and see which time they need to keep it open in their schedule to place the lesson. Because again, like I said, rather than trying to have them find a time between the instructor and their schedule, let's just say this is when the lesson, sometime in this ballpark is when your lesson is going to be. Just reserve it in your schedule. If students are struggling to pass their sequence classes, so, students need, what did this say? Oh, students need to know that ear training 2 and 4, theory 2 and 4, we only offer those spring semesters. So if they didn't pass theory 2, or they don't pass theory 4, they're going to have to wait until next spring semester. It's unlikely we'd be able to do an independent study. They're just going to have to wait. Now, the bigger problem is for students who are not passing their second semester classes. So students who are not passing MUS 122, they really should think about an alternative degree before they get too deep in the woods of trying to, because there's a lot more sequential classes coming. And normally if they're having trouble in theory 2, that may be an indication that the degree program in music is a little bit more challenging than they were expecting and maybe than they can handle. Doesn't mean it automatically. It may be other reasons they didn't pass was they just had a really difficult semester, but they understand this is going to set them back and they really want this degree and they're willing to work hard. That's fine. But if they were getting a little like, no, this was good. I was getting my brain felt like mush in this class. And I we may recommend that they go into the AA in liberal arts, liberal studies program, and maybe they can count certain number of music classes they've already taken as their free electives. And that may be a better path for them. So it's always a little bit of a touchy thing. Like, do they really, you know, are they willing to give it another shot? They're going to have to be here for at least another year while they wait. What are they going to do in that time between now and then? Is the rest of their theory skills going to go away? You know, we want them to be still active in music. It just gets complicated. And that's why it may be time to have that conversation with them, or send them to us. We'll have that conversation with them. But that's usually our first warning sign that they're not in the right degree program. This is really not what they were expecting. And it's not something that they are likely going to be able to do. And we don't want them to be wasting their time. We want them to be able to have a career, a degree path that they can successfully complete. Added to this, if they're really struggling in theory too, I may pause their lessons. They may be doing well in the lessons, but not the other degree sequencing classes. I don't want them to get so far ahead in the lessons that then they have all these lessons that aren't going to, they're not going to be, they've already got too many electives if they change their degree. It's just like, I don't want them to be in that situation. We may pause the lessons while waiting for them to catch up and pass theory 2. So, like I said, it's just it's something to be aware of, that this is an indication that maybe it's not the right degree program for them. They're really struggling to pass the class sequencing, particularly if they're 2 classes they're having trouble with, like maybe theory and class piano, they're struggling. It's like, well, you're not going to pass just on lessons on ensembles. You need these rigorous classes as well. So any questions up till then about the MUS students? I think that takes you through the MUS. New music production students, that's a little easier. This is usually when we get our most MP students. Just make sure that they are registered for MUS 111 and MP 101. Those classes they registered together. Please don't put students in the music production program into MUS 121. Theory 1. Again, I think some students are ending up in there because they're self-advising, and so I'm on the lookout for that. But that really can mess up their class sequencing if they take Theory 1 instead of Musicianship 1. They really need to take MUS 111. Same with the music MUS students. If they're in Musicianship MUS 111 instead of MUS 121, it's going to mess them up. So we really want to kind of keep them in those specific classes. They should be aware that they need to pass both of these. If they don't, it can really be problematic if they try to get a W in one of the classes, because my understanding is that since they're co-rect, if they withdraw from musicianship because they're not doing well, but that's also going to automatically withdraw them from MP 101, even if they're doing well in that class. So the best advice is do well in both. If they're struggling in one, do whatever they can do to try and get at least a D so they can maybe then retake it. But if they withdraw and they want to be in the program and they're doing well in one of the other classes that it's co-rect with, it's going to bump them out of it. And it's a problem. So they should be discouraged from getting a W unless they're really confident they want to be not part of this program or just want to start fresh anew the next semester, because otherwise they're gonna, like I said, it's gonna mess them up. The other thing to be aware that I'll put in now, that they can take a placement exam if they think they have more knowledge than that they think they can place higher than MUS 111. That would place them in the placement exam would place them in either MUS 112 or MUS 122, which is Theory 2. Like I said, I'm not going to place them in Theory 1 just because that's really designed for the MUS majors and it'll mess their sequencing out. But if they take a placement exam and do well, they can be placed in either MUS 112 or MUS 122. MUS 112 is most likely what they'll be placed in because that's also where they're going to get their Sibelius training, which is something we've added into MUS 112. So it's very unlikely that I'd place someone higher than Musicianship 2. So they can be aware of that. But if they feel like they have more knowledge, send them on to the music office. We'll schedule a placement for them. and we can place them in a something higher. Oh, Sal has some flow charts. Yeah, so Sal, if you want me to see the flow charts, and if those look correct, they'll be almost as official.
It's got to be a couple years old at least, Sal.
Okay.
I remember him back in the old VAPA Academy.
Yeah. I may have something, if it's helpful to have a chart that just shows what the degree classes are without all the other general study pathway courses are. I can certainly do that as well. That might make it simpler.
Well, that's pretty much what I had. It was a lot of the major courses in sequence. So I can send you what I have. We could always update those if anything, if that helps.
Okay.
If that's helpful.
I think that'll be a huge help because I know for Sal and I know the music program inside and out, but I think it's causes anxiety for a lot of advisors that don't use this program. So I think this would be a great guide, especially the placement. We do get a lot of questions in regards to that because on rare occasions, you'll have students that say, well, I can do scales. I know the keys. I can do all of that. I've been playing X amount for so many years. So this would be a good way to deter those students.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And
yes, I agree. If that could be sent to maybe Will, because I find myself sometimes struggling with the VAPA courses as to, well, Sal can attest to that, as to exactly what format and order that it should be, that the student should take these classes.
Okay, yeah, we can, we'll work with those flow charts. So Sal, if you send them to me, I'll update them and then I'll send them on to Will. The only thing other to kind of know about the sequencing, like I said, if this don't be swayed by a student's insistence that they have musical theory knowledge and really want to be placed higher. They have to take the placement because sometimes students are overestimating the amount of knowledge they have about scales and the degree of control they have. And so it really should be the department makes that call. But you can advise them that if they want to place higher, most likely that they'll either get placed into musicianship 2 or theory 2. And then they at least know what classes they're shooting for. And then yeah, have them send them to us. They don't need to contact me personally to arrange for the placement. They can contact the office assistant. Because as long as there's someone in the office, including the office assistant, she can, Sylvia, she can administer the theory placement. I correct it, but I don't have to be here to administer it. Schedule placement. Okay, there we go. So that's the new students for music production. I think music production students often get off in their sequencing. A lot of times it's because they either don't pass a certain course or they aren't taking 12 credits. They're going more part-time and they kind of piecemeal things together. Sometimes they delay certain classes that they're more scared of and take ones that they're more eager to take. So sometimes they get themselves into some real problems. Again, I can try, if that's a real issue, then you can send them to me and I can try and work out something with them because sometimes some of the music production faculty are willing to bend some of the co-recs a little bit to work with the student, particularly once we kind of know what their abilities are. But in general, they really should take the music production classes. We try to have them go in the order that they're numbered in. You know, MP 101, MP 102, MP 103, 204, 205, 206, 207, 208. That's when we try and get them to go. And our class sequences really are the physics of sound. I think we do encourage them to take that in their final semester, the 4th semester. Sometimes they take it differently and that can mess up that can then create conflicts. So sometimes conflicts on MP happens and no matter how well we advise them, there's still going to be these conflicts. We try and work with them, but sometimes we just have to say, sorry, you just have to wait until that class is offered again, or you have to pass that co-rec. There's nothing we can do. So yeah, it can get messy on that side.
Gotcha. Okay. Any other questions before we move on? All right. Okay. All right, Dr. Burkott, as usual, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for your contribution. And actually, this is more robust than what we've seen. So this will be great, a guide for the advisors.
Yeah, I'll hand this, I'll send it to you and then work the flow charts
Sure.
and then they'll have everything they need. We're
Great.
trying to get it streamlined.
We'll share it. And also, I mean, you know, all the sessions have been recorded and I sent out the first one, but we have the other two I have to send out. So I'll do that as well. Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you. All right.
Next, we have faculty from the health science program, Professor Elaten, Carmona, and Tismonis. Good afternoon.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, I'm just trying to share my screen. Hold on. Do you
Okay.
have it? Do you have it available, Reti?
Yes,
Or not?
yeah, it's
Okay.
but everyone has permission to use it if you need it. Okay.
Do you want to do Sharon, or you want to go ahead?
I'm still pulling it up. I just saw the message, so I don't have it up. Sorry.
I could do it. I have it ready.
Okay, if you have it ready, that would be great. I'm sorry.
Can everyone see it?
But you're not sharing the PowerPoint. Make sure you select you're sharing your computer screen.
Okay.
Do you want me to try to pull it up?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, there it is.
You have it? Okay, I see it.
Are we good now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so the three of us have been working on the revision of the health sciences program. I'm sure this will be familiar to many.
Did you freeze?
As well, we realized that this was needed because the one size does not fit all. There are many fields that students are interested in and want to get in after Queensborough. So along those lines, we have created different concentrations within the health sciences major, depending on what line students are interested in, what kind of career or postgraduate, post-QCC field they want to get into. And some of them actually even have specific schools that they're targeting or would like to get into. So based on that, we are trying to create, to make it easier for students to transfer to particular programs and sometimes even to particular schools. So in collaboration with all of you, the general advisors, we are trying to guide students. And so the program is posted on the course catalog, and what we're working on now is to create specific roadmaps for each field. So we, in terms of advising, the way that we envisioned it is that in the first year, students would be speaking with the general advisors, and in the second year, they will start contacting people in our department, in the biology department. And so we reached out to members of our department, and there are several who agreed to serve as advisors, and that list is now up to date, both on the departmental website and in the catalog. So these are the 5 concentrations. General health sciences is the general one. So if students do not have a specific line in mind, they can graduate with that concentration. And then we started off with the other four: health services administration, occupational therapy, respiratory care, and medical imaging. The idea is that initially all of them, independent of the concentration, they have to fulfill the Common Core, and there are some major requirements that they have to check off. But then there are more specific courses within each concentration, and all of this is now in the catalog. We went over this even the last time we met. Excuse me. These are some bullet points about the major changes that happened. So we no longer have a physician assistant because that has become at the master's level. Nutrition has moved to the health physical education department. The clinical lab and biomedical sciences has moved to the biology major now that we have one. And the pre-nursing students are identified by the admissions office. So these are some highlights of the major changes. So general biology is no longer a common requirement. We realize that most of the health sciences programs require anatomy and physiology. So we have made anatomy and physiology as a Common Core requirement. Students who were already majors can choose to either follow the old health sciences map or the new ones. So, there's some issues that come up with that, but everybody who has entered as a freshman last fall falls into the new curriculum. Now, there are some cases where current students can, if they choose to switch to the new curriculum, it really depends, and this is where the advisement becomes very important. It really depends on what courses they have already taken. And sometimes if they have fulfilled all the requirements, then it's to their benefit to transfer. Some students who are already in the program before the concentration existed, now they may choose a concentration, as long as it doesn't cost them more time and money. So there are cases, or there could be a case where a student already knows, if they start in the fall, they would go into concentration, but because they started before the concentration existed and they took a different path of courses, they don't, they might have to stay an extra semester to fulfill the requirements for a concentration. In those cases, maybe they wouldn't want to choose a concentration because they're going to get their associates anyway. Right. So I think for a few more semesters, we will probably come across cases like that where we would have to look at it on an individual basis. And there is some tweaking that needs to be done for certain things, but for the most part, we haven't had any major issues. There's one issue with a certain, I think it's for the electives, the number of elective credits, but we are in the process of ironing that out as well. So that will probably be fixed soon. The other thing is that articulation, we have been working on articulation agreements with other colleges. So 4 of them already in the books. And this is also another part that is work in progress. And by having these articulations, we envision that the transfer will be a lot smoother for our students. And finally, this is our contact information. And I don't know if Sharon or I do have anything to add.
Not really.
I think you got it. Not sure if there's any questions.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. If a student came in previously as a preclinical student and they have taken both bio 301 and 302, the psychology 101, the psych 220, the bio 311, the English and the math, should they transfer over to health science Or can they just go ahead and sign up for the PAC test? And just stay in liberal arts preclinical nursing? Let me rephrase that. If I have a student that's in preclinical nursing, and she's taken all the classes for the preclinical, as I mentioned, the bio 302, 301, 101, Site 220, the English class, the math class, and the bio 311. Does it make sense to transfer them from the LA preclinical over to health science? Or can they just go ahead on, since they have all those classes and they completed them successfully with a C or higher, just confer with them to go ahead and take the PAX exam?
I would think that if they fulfilled the requirements, they can probably go ahead and take it, no?
I think it depends on their individual choice. If their goal is to get into the nursing program, then they should just go ahead and take the exam and apply to get into the program. If they want to still have an additional associate's degree to just for their own, because that's something that they want to also achieve, then they can look into what other additional classes they may need to take. How short are they from an additional associate's degree? But I think it would be a more personal thing.
Yeah, but beyond that, Naidu, also a lot of the students don't end up getting into the nursing schools. So it's worth it for them at some point. If they get into nursing school, great, then I don't think it matters. But if they don't get into the nursing program, transferring into the health science associate's degree program will then give them
an option.
Different options.
I think it's important for students to understand what the different possibilities are and the different scenarios. And then, as I said, it's really a personal choice. So some students, like I've come across students where they say, you know what, I don't care about getting an associate's, right? If my plans don't work out the way that I want to, I'll figure it out. Sometimes they've never thought of the possibility that they might not get into nursing. So what's the backup plan? Are they going to apply for the programs? Are they aware that if they have an associate's, it's, there are some benefits to it, to actually having the degree? So I think it's important for students to be informed and then weigh their options. And as Naidu said, it also depends on how far away they are from fulfilling, because if it's just a few credits, if it's like one other course that they could take over the summer and that will give them the degree, it might be worth doing it.
Okay. But what if let's just say they got less than a C on one of the bio 301 or 302, and now that lessens their chance of trying to get into the nursing program. Would it be beneficial to the student if the advisor say to them that so that you can get your degree, it would be better to transfer over to health science and do the rest of the health science courses and get that degree?
I think what Voshia, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. I think what they're writing in the chat are good suggestions. I think that if the students scored less than a C, it will make their application very difficult. And as Sharon said, they may have to then now look at alternative options.
Right. So with that being said, if they was to naturally less than the C, that would make them eligible for the nursing program. So if they transferred over to health science and did the health science degree, is it advisable to tell the student that they can possibly research getting into a nursing program at a SUNY school once they finished?
I don't think they're going to get into any SUNY or CUNY programs if they get less than a C. Usually you have to retake the 301 or 302 course. Those are
Right.
gateway courses that you need to take.
Yes,
So,
okay,
and you need to usually get, some schools require a C plus or better, some will take a
Right,
C. But
right.
I don't think less than a C is going to be accepted into any SUNY or CUNY program. I
Right.
can't speak for the private
Right,
programs.
right. So in other words, if they got less than a C and they retook, let's just say the bio 302, and they got a higher score, a C or better, would it still be beneficial to them to transfer over to health science?
I think, I think it's beneficial, Vicky wrote that and Vicky, maybe you should speak to why this is true, but you wrote that if you complete the application in the fall of 23, then you should stay where you are, but if you apply in the fall for spring 24, they should transfer into health sciences. So I'm not exactly sure of the rationale, but I would think that, anybody would benefit from being in the health science, to go into the health science program, because it broadens their options. They may find it difficult to get into the programs that they want, and they might find that there are other options that are out there for them, but.
Because
You want to explain?
How I'm looking at it is that if they take the bio, I keep using that for an example, the bio 302, and they get a higher grade, still the first grade is going to be looked at, that they didn't pass in that. So if they switch over to the health science, and as I said, get a higher grade in the bio 302, when they transfer out, is it feasible to say you could try SUNY or whatever to see if they would accept the higher grade that you got for the bio?
Yeah,
To get into the nursing program?
I honestly don't.
I come by all the time.
I don't know enough about the admission into the nursing program to answer that.
I really need an answer.
I think
I,
that.
I'll jump in. The only college that I know of that you're allowed to repeat any of your bios is Nassau Community College. They will allow one repeat of one biology course.
Right.
If you have below a C, that's it. So if a student has gotten a C minus or below, then generally we will advise them to look into other programs so that there's other things they can do besides nursing within the realm of the health sciences. And that time you would advise them to go into health sciences and help them look for other majors within health sciences in which they can continue on. Even if they have a C minus, there's some programs that, like diagnostic medical imaging, they will allow them to repeat a C minus. They have to have a C to get into most of those programs. So there's other things they can do, but nursing is likely not going to be for them. What I was saying about your other student is if this student has already completed everything, bio 311 has the application, I think the deadline was yesterday to turn in your nursing application for fall 2023. If that student did not take the Pax-RN and did not apply for the nursing program for fall of 23, it behooves them, it's better for the student to go into health sciences where you can actually take Chem 127 and the Math 336 and have them count for financial aid purposes so that they can continue taking classes that would help them for nursing and then apply for the spring 24 to get in, rather than staying in liberal arts where they're really not going to be taking any more classes that can help them because they've now run out of free elective spots and their math and science requirements.
Okay, that was a lot to cover. Any other questions or insights before we move on? Because we're running towards the end and we have one speaker left. Okay, all right. Well, for the health science faculty, I thank you so much. This has always been helpful. And I'll let everyone's asking if any of these materials you could share with us and the advisors.
Of course.
I have one more question. I have one more question.
And now we're really short on time. Can you please email that?
Okay.
Yeah, we're available. Here are our contact info. And William, I can send you the PDF of this presentation. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, no problem. All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for your time. Professor Ferrari, are you there, please? Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
1 second. I don't know. Oh, always. Ah, no, it's here. Okay, can you see my documents?
Yes, yes. This is
Oh, I don't know what happened, but I was in the car because there was no space available in my office, and my phone started to heat up. So then I don't know where I was talking, and I realized I was talking to myself. So I had to do a redo. So I apologize, but I will go very fast. So again, we have only concentrations. We don't have any degree at the moment. So there are two concentrations. One is for speech pathology, language disorders and speech pathology, and the other is for general communication. And the courses that we offer for the general communication are Introduction to Communication Study. All our courses are on pathways, except for one that we are waiting for. But Introduction to Communication Studies is a general introductive course, is for majors in communication, but I will also recommend for students who have to give public speaking, but they are very afraid about public speaking, and so they could take this first and then public speaking. Maybe this is an elective and then public speaking to get used to the idea of presenting in public. Then we have public speaking, which is our famous course. Students are afraid of this course. We have several students who are not, they are like me, ESL students of English. And so for them it's a real struggle. And we understand that this course gives a lot of fears, real fears to many students. So if you see that the student is really hesitant and he has a possibility to take an elective, send him first to 101 and then to SP 211. Otherwise, you know, if as long as they do and perform, they will pass the class. But obviously, if they are afraid, their performances and their engagement in the class will not be that high because of their fears. Then we have SP 212, Interpersonal Communication. This is a WH intensive course. It has a prerequisite of English 101 just for the writing. Interpersonal Communication is a course for our majors, but also for all the people who wants to learn how to communicate one-to-one and how to understand how to solve or avoid communication conflict in a one-to-one context. Usually interpersonal is communication with people that you know, or your boss, or also customer, in the customer service dynamic, talking with the customers. And it really helps you to understand what you should say and what you should not say in order to avoid communication conflicts. Actually, this is a good course also for nurses, because studies shows that there is a lot of discriminations against patients that identify as LGBTQAI. And this course is a course that really teaches how to avoid to interject your personal biases when you communicate, especially with patients, so that they can access to medicine and you can serve them with your medicine work. Then we have SP 213, Intercultural Communication. This course helps all of us to understand how to communicate with people from different cultures. Now, QCC is a multicultural school, so this course also it's very fundamental because it helps you first to understand yourself, understand your own biases, understand whether you have an ethnocentric point of view with respect to reality and life. And once you understand what type of communicator you are and you integrate your communication within your culture, then it will be easier to talk to people other culture in a more respectful way. And for respectful is always the same. The goal is to avoid communication conflicts that then can escalate to different levels of conflicts. Then we have SP 214. This is communication in professional settings. In this course, students will be divided in groups according to their professions. This semester, for instance, we have a marketing group, an education group, a business group, and then a group of mixed students who don't have a real decided what professions they are going to do. Here you will learn, I mean, this course, there is no prerequisite, but if they take SP 211 is much better because students will deliver presentations, but at this point will be professional presentations. So if they don't take a speech 211, they will have issues on how to write and deliver a speech because that will be their first speech class. But again, they will be a little bit behind on the speeches, but for the rest, they will be fine. And this teaches you more how to communicate professionally in different fields, both orally than in writing. And then we have SP 215 and 216. These are the two courses for the concentration in speech pathology. Unfortunately, these courses have not been running because we don't have students. And most likely, if they will not run in the next 2 or 3 semesters, then we will lose them. And at the same time, the concentration, which is a pity. I understand that the concentration usually is not a very popular concentration, but many students want to become speech pathologists because it's a great job opportunity. Also, phonetics and linguistics 215 and 216 should be recommended to students like me, ESL students. We don't have a remediation course anymore. So by taking these courses at the same time as speech 211, they will help to improve in phonetics their pronunciation. And when I say improving, it's not just able to mimic a correct pronunciation, but really to understand at a scientific and physiological level what are the differences between the pronunciation of their mother tongue and English. So that will give them an understanding, a practice, but also an insight on how language works across different, so how languages works at the sound system level. 216 is more linguistics, mainly studies the underlying structure, grammatical, syntactic, semantic, phonological, morphological, and also sociolinguistic structure of the language. And this course is very good for people who are struggling with writing. Again, there are not many remediation anymore left for writing and reading. This course will help the students to really understand how does the grammar work in English. And if English is not their first language, they will compare their language with English. So this will give them a lot of insights on how the grammar of English really works. 217 is business communication. It's pending the application for pathways. This is a real business communication course, differently from professional speaking. This is really goes more like in the specific of each aspect of business, like reading a report, creating a report, advertising and marketing a product. And also students will learn how to conduct job interview, and also writing a resume, all the type of communication in writing and orally that people use in the business world. This course is the only course of the all community colleges that has been accepted as equivalent of 220 at Baruch, communication 220 at Baruch. And the course is really modeled after the Baruch course. So business students who take this course, then they will transfer with this course directly. This course will transfer to Baruch. It's open to all the students, but mainly it was creating for business students. And then we have SP 321 oral performance for actors and speakers. This is there would be a continuation of SP 211, because here the students will be mainly using their oral and verbal and non-verbal skills applied to readings and performance of different type of text, and that will obviously improve their public speaking skills in general. And also not only public speaking, but they are one-to-one and public speaking skills. These are all the courses that we offer. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Any questions? Okay. Well, this is part 2 for you.
I'm sorry for the first part. I don't know what happened.
No, it's okay. It was, well,
I hope I didn't say any curse word.
Right. Well, I mean, listen, at least I don't know if you were involved with the power outage. Doesn't look like, but it's been an eventful training today.
Okay.
So, if there isn't any questions, then Professor Fari, if you could just send me the document, that would be great, and then we can share with everyone.
Okay.
Much appreciated.
Thank
And
you.
yes, thank you. And yeah, we've gone over. So I think at this time, I think it's good to just say we'll call it a day. And I just want to say thank you for everyone and their especially the faculty. They had to jump from building to building. It's been a eventful and memorable training. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day.